solid day.
I mean, is that how, I wonder if that's how, like, PK got his start, if he, like, kicked in the door, yeah.
Something like that, like a forever.
Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
This will come back to you. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Wow, a blue Wednesday. I'm just looking at this for the first time. Good Lord. Blued up. We're going to talk to Josh
Save it
Pate.
for the Will Wade pod.
7:30 this morning. Pate, of course, from Go 247 and CBS Sports will stop by here. We will talk to him about the latest in college football. Over 1,000 players in the transfer portal. Reported yesterday as another one from LSU. Jack Bech, big name, hits a lot of people as Bech puts his name officially into the transfer portal. We'll obviously talk about that at the start of the show, but more to Pate about the transfer portal and how it's working here. Over 1,000 players, as we mentioned here early on. Not going to work out for everybody, right? I mean, there's not going to have 1,000 situations, over 1,000 spots available for, new faces. But somebody like Jack Bech surely will have a place. We'll talk about some of those landing spots and why he ultimately decided to put his name in coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Jacques will be here at 8:30 this morning. He'll come through, as always, in studio with us on a Wednesday, and we'll talk to him about LSU's, obviously, bowl bid to the Citrus Bowl, some of the early matchup points of LSU and Purdue, and we will dive into, obviously, recruiting, transfer portal, all that is going on within college football right now. Brian Kelly was speaking to the media yesterday, and Jacques was there as we'll talk to him about some of the feedback that he got from Kelly yesterday as well. But that is a lot of what's going on right now. Transfers, obviously, and headline news. We're going to take your mailbag questions today. So if you want to get them in through email, obviously through DM, or if you want to give us a call, that's the easiest way to do it. You can text into the show. You can call into the show. You can leave a voicemail. We will open up the mailbag segment around 8 a.m., right around the top of the hour today, and start to take your questions. Katie's got carpool, so she'll be through here in about 45 minutes. It is raining. It is slippery out there. Make sure and stay safe if you're on the road. No texting and driving. Just put the shoe on and just put the show on and chill out and listen for the next 2 hours. We'll be here until 9 a.m. this morning. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind for us as we get moving here on this Wednesday. Subscribe if you have not already subscribed. We appreciate everybody supporting the show daily. We're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Go see Nick Richard and Lee Carney down in LaPlace if you're looking for a brand new car. They got great deals on trucks right now, great competitive prices on trucks, all models that you may be looking for. Silverado, they've got half tons. They've got big fleet trucks for you out there if you're looking for those. Get in touch with them at Go Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet, proud supporter here of the Jordy Culotta Show. And our phone line brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Metropolitan Health Group, daily, real doctors, real solutions. We'll bring you our phone line, and we'll talk to Josh Pate coming up at 7:30 this morning. And as we said, Jacques will be in. All right, big news yesterday. Jack Bech enters the transfer portal, and he had a breakout freshman season, obviously, but a second year that was plagued by injuries, inconsistency, and look, the wide receiver depth, right? Ultimately, I think is what was the deciding factor for Jack Bech to make it official on Tuesday that he was going to put his name into the transfer portal. First off, a little bit on Bech and just what LSU is losing, right? His freshman season, I think, is one that we will all remember as, just that local gutsy performance for a guy coming in that was unheralded and started 7 of 13 games as a freshman last year, made plays all over the place. You could see him as he, right from the start, he had a big catch against UCLA across the middle and picked up a first down, and it seemed like every time he touched the ball throughout his freshman season, something good happened. I mean, he scored a touchdown against Alabama. He had 16 catches and 200 yards this season. But last year, he led the team with 43 catches for just under 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. And as we said, started 7 of those 13 games his freshman season. There was high expectation for him coming into the season, and I think he was really limited in fall camp and in the summer of working out because of an injury that he was dealing with that set him back in fall camp. He wasn't able to start on time, and from there he couldn't get going in this wide receiver room because of there's so many players. There's not a lot of gaps. There's not a lot of openings. There's not a lot of opportunities for if you lose or have to sit out and can't go because you're injured, even if you're a guy like Jack Bech who had such a, star bright freshman season with so much expectation coming into year 2, you can get sniped. You can lose your job pretty quick just because whoever gets on the field is most likely not going to give it back. Jeray Jenkins, Malik Neighbors, Kayshawn this season obviously had his spot hammered in, but his announcement of coming back for a senior season on Monday, followed by Jack Bech's announcement on Tuesday, I don't think is a coincidence. I think that, that was probably, the nail in the coffin to make the decision of, look, this is going to be a crowded room next season. Bech is coming off of a year that he had his confidence, he had his health, he had everything kind of up against the wall. And look, this is going to be a transfer portal decision. And I think that we'll all kind of keep under a microscope to see how it works out. And out loud, I guess this is what the transfer portal was intended to do, to give the power to the player and allow the player to make a decision on how he or she sees the best opportunity for them. And, I hate to see it end like this for Jack Bech, in the sense of, it felt like he was going to have a chance next year, even in a crowded room, to have an opportunity. But if that's not the way he sees it, then, look, you support Jack Bech, you pull for him wherever he goes, and, it's kind of on to the next stop for him. I think a lot of people think that TCU is the front runner for Bech. I think that anybody who has that type of offense that features wide receivers is going to be after him. I think that, everybody in the country is really going to be knocking down Bech's door of if they have an offense that, needs pass catchers, needs athletes, which, come on, all of college football does. He'll have his chance to go wherever he wants. I hate the fact that this is the way that it ends for him at LSU, for me personally, right? It's all about Bech, and it's all about what he wants to do, from covering him and, kind of watching his game evolve. I hate to see it end like this, because I think it had a chance to really be a success story. We talked a little bit about it a couple of days ago, and it might even have been last week. Jack Bech has never dealt with what he's dealing with in his entire life when it comes to sports, when it comes to football, right? From the time that he was taking the field as, a flag football player as a kid in Acadiana Parish in Lafayette, he was the best player on the field. That grew into Little League football, that grew into high school football, that grew into his freshman season at LSU, where, he looked around in a locker room that had pros. That team had 10 guys drafted off of it last season, and Bech was arguably their best offensive player after Kayshawn went down. And, it was a familiar spot for him, that in every locker room he had walked in, he was usually the man. If he wasn't, he was a part of the structure that had those dudes in it. So when his sophomore season hit, and he's a little bit behind the eight ball from a health standpoint to start the season, so you never can get kind of going. Once you get opportunities, you try to make the best of them. And, for every punt return you bring back, there's a fumbled kickoff. For every big catch you make and touchdown you grab, there's a big drop. It couldn't get going for Bech here in year two. And I would believe that he's never dealt with that in his life. He's never had to deal with the adversity that comes along with your play struggling, your health is in question, your confidence is a little rattled. There's players behind you that are, playing a little bit more than you, that you're wondering why. There's just things that he's dealing with, that has dealt with this season, that it's the first time. So for him to go into the transfer portal, I hate to see it end like that selfishly, because I'd like to see the redemption story play out on the field that I believe would happen. I think that he's too good of a player, and he's too invested into football not to get back on the field and be an impact player at LSU. But that's not going to be the way that it works out. That's not how it's going to happen. He's going to go on to the next stop, and I think that he'll regain that. I think that, like I said, whether it's in the business world, whether it's in sports, whether it's in, your everyday life, you see this. The cream rises to the top. The talent, the ones with the skill, the ones with the ability, and they are the ones that get the jobs. They're the ones that make the plays, and I think he fits that model more than he fits the guy that was struggling this season. And I am pulling for Jack Bech. I think that Bech is going to make an impact wherever he lands. But like I said, just selfishly from my point of view, which, in Jack Bech's world, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't, and I'm not asking that he does, but I mean, this is our platform to give an opinion. I hate to not be able to see that up close here at LSU, because I know how much it meant to him and his family for him to be wearing those colors, to him to be playing in that stadium. And when there's when it seems like Walker Howard is going to be in the discussion of having a chance to play next year, if you had a chance to watch those two growing up together in high school, they were special. They were as good as a combination as this state has ever produced. Walker Howard's junior season and Jack Bech's senior season, they chopped people up. I mean, they carved up the state's top defenses.
And they knew it was coming.
Yeah. I mean, one state titles, big numbers, gaudy numbers, going at play. I mean, it was fun to watch. And, when Walker committed and got on campus, you thought, it's going to be fun when those guys get on the field together to watch them play. Not having that chance kind of sucks.
Is it as easy for Jack Bech to have stayed if he just changed positions? If he just played tight end, don't you think that we could have avoided a lot of this? It seemed to be the move to the wide receiver room, which he probably advocated for more than anybody. That put him into he went from a very, desolate room into a very crowded room, and then he just got lost in the shuffle. Like, if he stays at tight end, he plays.
I think so.
What,
and
60 more snaps? Like 60% more snaps?
I think for Bech, watching Mason Taylor having the season he did was,
I'd do that too.
Was probably, a little bit, a part of that confidence being shook that we talked about. That was probably him looking out there and saying that should probably be me. Like that.
Right.
I should be making that play against
that
Alabama. Too. Yeah. I don't know. I think that, look, LSU's wide receiver room is going to be fine.
Right.
Like, there's no real, and that's no slight on Bech. It's more of a compliment of just how loaded that room is. I mean, when you look at the names on paper that are coming back for LSU, coming in for LSU, it's almost embarrassing. It's like, Jesus. I mean, the amount of players that they have. I mean, just talking about the guys that they have coming back on this team, right? When you spell them out at this point. Kayshawn, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Chris Hilton Jr. Who am I missing on this team right now?
Wait, that's going into next year?
Jeray Jenkins leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know if you were listing.
No, going to next year.
You have Chris Hilton.
You got Kayshawn.
You
got Brian Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
You got Chris Hilton. You got Malik Neighbors.
And then you can add.
And then you got coming in the state's number one wide receiver in Shelton Sampson. You've got Florida's number one wide receiver coming in Jaylen Brown.
And Kyle Parker.
And you've got one of Texas's top receiver coming in Kyle Parker. And if you watch Kyle Parker play this season, he's the one that I knew the least about. He was the one that I had, rarely heard his name. You cover enough, or you pay attention to enough recruiting, and you'll hear guys' names like Shelton Sampson and Jaylen Brown, right? I mean, those are just 5-star elite guys. Kyle Parker is, kind of hidden in the middle of Texas and is, doesn't have the measurables that a guy like Sampson does. And I think he's like 5'10", 180 pounds. But if you watch his film, if you watch him play, he is a dog. I mean, like Harold Perkins type dog, where he is just bigger, stronger, faster than everybody out there and making it look easy when it's not. It's not. I mean, he makes it look a little easier than it should. Kyron Lacey is a name that I brought that I left out. I appreciate Migo Tez and Mike and Emily Domingue for helping me out with that. And like Landon Ibieta was a guy that did not play this season, was dealing with some injury stuff and redshirted. And then also coming in the class is Kai Preon, from St. James. So I mean, like the room is disgustingly built. I mean, like it is. I know I'm very much biased here and looking through a very local point of view, but I can't imagine that there is a wide receiver room in the country that is more talented, maybe as talented. Ohio State continuously has great wide receiver rooms. Who knows what Bama's wide receiver room could evolve into. But right now, when you just look on paper what LSU has at that spot, it's as NFL ready of a room that you'll find in college football.
No, and Kyron Lacey.
Yeah.
That's another one I saw it in the chat. That's what I wanted to bring up. But yeah, that's
Landon Ibieta.
Didn't even see. I don't even saw him in pads.
No, I think he did with some concussion,
hurt.
Some stuff early on.
But that's why I brought up the tight end thing, and there's some people in the chat saying that he's not a tight end. If you're telling me that Jack Bech could have put on an extra 15 pounds if he wanted to play tight end, he could have. He has the skill set. He's a good blocker. He does everything that a tight end does. And Denbrock's system, they want to run too tight. So you see them, at least you see the coaching staff now searching for tight ends, and this just could have been an easy solution in my mind for him to move down on the end a little bit. That's all it would have been. You're still going to catch passes.
I think that you could tell, I think he was
the odd man out.
He was kind of bucking that last season.
That's what I'm saying.
He was trying to play his natural spot.
Right.
And I think that there was a lot of, hey, look, just get to next year. Mm-hmm. Just get to next year, and we'll make sure that you're back in your original position. And, I think that there's a couple of ways to look at it. But ultimately, I believe what set Bech back more than anything was the off-season injury. Was the late in the off-season dealing with the he was something with his shins and cast, but I mean, it was a lingering effect that he couldn't get on the field. And I mean, if you remember last summer, Max Johnson, Garrett Nussmeier, and Jack Bech were in each other's back pocket. If you were following them on social media, every single day they were either at Johnson's house in Atlanta or working out somewhere with Nussmeier in Texas, or they were down in Louisiana doing some stuff with Justin Jefferson. They were working out with him one time. You know what I mean? They were always together, always throwing, always working on the chemistry. This offseason, guys were doing that, and Bech wasn't a part of it because he just couldn't get going with what he was dealing with. Move that forward to fall camp. He can't participate early on. You see how talented that wide receiver group is. Those guys get on the field. Bech gets healthy, struggling to get back, makes a couple of plays, drops a couple of passes, fumbles a kickoff. Just never can consistently put it together here in his sophomore season. Meanwhile, you got guys that are already in the room that have been eaten. That are gaining confidence, that are making plays. Mason Taylor, at tight end.
Malik Neighbors.
Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
Just you looked around that room and you saw man, I'm getting passed up. It's just it's with whatever it's the cause of it. It's just a room that you can't slip. you can't miss a day. And it's for Bech. I think he got gobbled up a little bit on it. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you have any sources or if you can answer, but do you have an idea of where he will be entertaining for the portal?
I don't have like a list, but I know like Tulane, TCU, schools like that. I've heard a lot of TCU early on from people within, that are close to him.
Because he's good enough to play.
Yeah, no doubt.
This isn't a situation in which he feels like he has to take like a step down because of his talent. It's just a situation where he's in a crowded room and he can still go to a Big 12 team. I mean, Tulane obviously is in the American Athletic Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
senior quarterback coming back,
right? But if you saw it on the surface, they'd be like, "Oh, he has to move down a conference." So, it's not the SEC. But the way Tulane's rolling right now,
ask Trey Quinn how that worked out for him.
Mm-hmm. Got him to the league.
He's all over the record books at SMU.
Yeah,
played for who? Sonny Dykes, who's head coach now.
TCU.
Yeah, so I think Bech fits a role that if somebody has a vacancy there, which I don't know what TCU's roster looks like. I know that they had a lot of wide receivers that are upperclassmen.
But if there's 1,000 people in the portal, there's certainly a home for somebody.
Sure.
Rosters look different than they did 3 days ago.
Yeah, no, without question. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by City Cafe. We're going to catch up here with Josh Pate in mere minutes. City Cafe, citycafebr.net is where you can find them online. Remember, been in business over 100 years. Go see Squeaky, go see Cody, go see the crew over on O'Neill, George O'Neill. Like we said, they've been there forever, man. Lunch specials every day. Brunch on Sundays, 10 a.m. Go see them. Always got great oysters. Great bar scene up there if you want to go watch the game. It's a cool place. They got all types of people where good friends go to meet, where good friends go to eat. City Cafe, citycafebr.net. Let us reset real quick. We'll get Josh Pate on the line. We'll talk more college football. I want to talk to Pate about the transfer portal, not specifically Bech, but just the amount of players that have gone into the portal over the last couple of days, right? Since Monday is when it officially opened up. And now there's over 1,000 players. I think On3 has it at like 1,009, 1,008 players are in the transfer portal. What was the intention of the transfer portal, and is this it? Right? I think that, there's all types of opportunities to learn when you're doing something new, right? This is a brand new project, experiment, new rule in college football that was implemented on the fly, really. I mean, it wasn't well thought out on how it was going to be, how it was going to be implemented, how it was going to be overseen, how it was going to be disciplined. None of that still is figured out.
How many times you can get in it? If you're
right.
JT Daniels, seems to live in there.
This feels like this is like one end of the spectrum. I think, obviously you don't want to give, go to the other end of the spectrum where, players are landlocked to schools. And if they, if they transfer, they lose a year of eligibility. That, kind of being the scale somewhere in between where we are, or maybe even a little further to closer to where we are now than where we came from. Seems like that would be a good settling point, because right now it just, I don't know how you do it. And I'm not giving you some great explanation. So,
it just feels like it was too strict and now it's too loose. There's got to be a little middle ground.
I don't know if this is the
final
intent.
Form.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the intent of it. I mean, it's just, it's a free for all, man. I mean, it is. I mean, the effect that it has on rosters and the conversations that are being had. I mean, I saw where Mac Brown said over 25 schools had reached out to a player on his team. Now, obviously, that feels like it's Drake May, his quarterback. But, I mean, their roster's pretty good. You know what I mean?
I think there's one guy that
no doubt about it, but it kind of feels like if there's one school that makes sense for May, it would be Alabama. Alabama's name keeps popping up, around May. And
they need one.
Yeah, and they need one. So it'll
See, that's where it doesn't feel, and this might be sour grapes, but that's where it doesn't feel right? Where it's Drake May is you're pretty much had a great year at North Carolina, like kept them in the season. If North Carolina loses Drake May, it sets you back 2 years.
Oh, no doubt.
And then Alabama just gets to cherry pick
this
whoever
is
they
going
feel like.
to
And LSU
start,
could do it too. But
this is going to start the model
of
this is what it's not.
This
Like
ain't
that.
it.
That will change the rule.
Yeah.
You know, like that will change. If Alabama, Georgia, maybe LSU works its way into that conversation where you're just waiting on the best freshman quarterback every year.
And you just get to re-recruit them.
And you just get to say, hey, look, man, I got $500,000 more for you down here to come transfer in.
Oh, now it's a bidding war?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, which it's going to be.
Exactly.
I mean, this is going to be.
Because this is tangentially tied to NIL. It has to be. Like the upper echelon guys in the transfer
Absolutely.
portal, that's what changes. Like the middling guys that are just moving schools because they may
Drake
have
May
been
would be
phased
a
out.
great case study.
Yes.
To see, just kind of see like,
Wonder
okay,
what that phone looks like.
he's one of the best players in the country. He might be the best freshman quarterback in the country.
Might win the Heisman.
Could win the Heisman. Has Heisman moments. And has no shot to win the national championship at North Carolina. I mean, Alabama's a phone call away that says Bryce Young's going to be the number one pick in the draft and the quarterback spot is wide open with 5 stars everywhere. Would you like to be the quarterback here for the next 2 years? Oh, by the way, we'll pay you $1.3 million.
What's Mac offering?
What's North Carolina got? Because all their money's
Tickets?
probably gobbled up by basketball
Basketball.
guys, right? So if they come back and they match that, tell them we got $500,000 more where that came from. And if they match that, we got $500,000 more
Do
than
this
that.
again.
So, we can be here all day. Here's the offer. Do you want to be the starting quarterback at Alabama? We will ask Josh Pate that next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure and hit us on social media at Culotta Show. Like, share, hit the subscription button on YouTube. We'll be right back after this. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculottashow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by, caught one. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember to hit us on social media at Culotta Show. Speaking of social media, at Late Kick Josh on Twitter, Josh Pate. You hear him regularly here on the Culotta Show. We always appreciate his time and his knowledge as we welcome him back into the conversation. I see this guy everywhere, man. What was I watching? CBS Sunday News the other day. and his face pops up talking about the playoff. He's all over the place, bro. Welcome in. How are you? Good morning.
Well, look, I mean, it's not that big a deal because they did bring me on air as Josh Pate, so I don't really know how big a deal we should make of that.
Like a delicious treat.
It was a great hit, though, man. It was. It's fun to see what's going on with you. It's obviously you and I doing kind of the same in the same arena of the digital work, and to see the way your product is absolutely exploding is fun to watch and kind of helping us as a roadmap to kind of get to that next level. If you're not following our guy, make sure you hit him at Late Kick Josh, and the Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday 7:00 Central Time with Late Kick Josh is a must watch to a college football fan. Josh, the transfer portal's on fire. Jack Bech just entered it down here. We were reacting to that to start the show. I saw JT Daniels is going in once again. There's over 1,000 players in the portal. When it was initially conceived, do you think this was the intent of where we are right now?
No, I don't. I think people thought it was going to be a mechanism that was used sparingly. I think it was ignorant to believe that, but nevertheless, I do believe that people thought that. And this is the end result when you really make consequence-free transfer a possibility. So I don't know if everyone ties what's happening right now into Deion Sanders like I have, but I couldn't help when I listened to him talk to those kids at Colorado.
Yeah.
And he was really harsh with them. And he basically told them, hey, I need some of y'all to hop in the portal because I'm bringing my own players here. I don't need you anymore. I think a lot of folks were rubbed the wrong way by it. And, Jordy, I had a lot of people text me or DM me saying in some form or fashion, you can't treat college kids like that. And I responded back and I said, where are the kids? Because you've been telling me these are adults for the past 2 or 3 years. You've been telling me they should have adult privileges. They should be able to move freely. They should be able to make money off of themselves, which I didn't push back on, but I am going to push back now when it's time for them to be treated with kid gloves.
Yeah.
To remind you, no, you chose for them to be treated like adults. So Deion Sanders gets to walk in now based on the new rules of college football, and he gets to treat them no differently than a new boss would walk in and treat you and I. If he doesn't want us here anymore, we're gone. If he doesn't have a spot for us anymore, we're gone. He gets to bring his own people, and we don't get to push back on it because we're adults. And so it's an adult world now. Everybody thought it was going to be all benefit, no consequence. Well, you're looking at the consequence.
Excellent point, and a really different way to think of it. And now, with the way that it exists, what do you anticipate the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks to be like with over 1,000 kids in it? How much does it change the landscape of who does it change the most? Middle of the pack or the top tier?
I think it changes middle of the pack the most. I think the top tier benefits the most. I think any change in college football will always eventually benefit the top tier. That doesn't mean right off the bat it does, but eventually it will, because the top tier has more resource to figure out how to exploit the rules to their collective advantage. Mm-hmm. I think that this cycle is going to be really interesting because it's the first one where we get the windows. Right now, this thing's open 45 days, and we don't get another transfer portal window until after spring. So I had a couple of staffs that I was talking to who need certain positions. And, here's one I'll use. So Devin Leary from NC State, the quarterback there, he's in the portal right now. So let's say over at Pate State, I need a quarterback, and I need one to start immediately, but I'm looking at Alabama, and I'm asking my staff, hey, if Ty Simpson wins the starting job there this spring, could Jalen Milroe go in the portal? Because maybe at Pate State, we grade Milroe as being a better fit in our offense than Leary. Well, Milroe may not go in the portal. He may not go in there at all. But even if he does, maybe he waits until after spring. So do I roll the dice and take Leary now if I can get him? Or do I wait until spring and just hope that Jalen Milroe goes in the portal? And there's a lot of uncertainty. So staffs out there right now, not only do you have the players in the portal that you may or may not take, you also have to juxtapose that to not only who you're going to sign in your signing class, but who you think you may be having access to come post-spring. So it's a mess.
The dirtiest part of college football now has got to be the communication between current staffers and players on right. I mean, like tampering's got to be the worst part of what's going on right now. I mean, everything seems in recruiting. It's just you can talk money now openly. I mean, we could just bid on you. So I mean, nothing's really illegal. It seems like the dirtiest part of the sport now has got to be. I saw where Mac Brown came out and said he had a player on his roster being contacted by 25 schools. I guess that's his quarterback, but I mean, that's got to be happening everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. And it's technically illegal, but there's no way to police it.
Right.
And therefore, it's common practice at the moment. I think most programs either are trafficking in that or via back channels and second parties are trafficking in that. Here's the other part of that. So right now, if you look around and coaching staffs in general, I think a lot of the misconception out there is if you pay staffs X amount of money, they should just be capable of doing infinitely more than any normal person would be capable of doing. Well, the reality is a human's only capable of 100% of their maximum capability level. And it doesn't matter if you pay them $5 or $5 billion. They're not capable of anything more. You just get warped expectations the more you pay them. And right now, you've got coaches who are having to recruit normal high school kids, on a 4-year cycle. They're having to recruit 4 different classes there. They're having to recruit their own staff right now in their own position room, should I say, right now. And they're also having to scout college players. They're having to, for the first time, have a college scouting department, which is, by the way, where a lot of these programs have found themselves woefully unequipped. And it's not because this has surprised them. It's one thing to know this is coming. It's another thing to go sell your administration and your chancellor, president, or AD on the fact that we need $1.25 million, $2 million more dollars because we need to develop a new scouting department here. And then you get pushback and people say, why can't you just use the people you use in recruiting? And then you tell them, because this is a whole new world. We can't just have people double dip. That's like asking people to do 30 hours worth of work per day. And you've got a lot of universities and coaching staffs really struggling to get adequate resources to develop a proper college scouting department. Therefore, they are inequipped when guys go in the portal and they realize, wait a second, this guy that just went in the portal today has actually already been in contact with some staffs or some people associated with staffs for like a month. We're way behind the 8 ball already.
Right. All right, Josh, the other biggest story in college football this week was Deion Sanders being introduced in Colorado, as the new head coach. What do you make of that story, and what do you anticipate his impact being?
So this time last year, it was when Lincoln Riley went to USC, and he did something with that roster certainly none of us had ever seen before because it had just become legal to do it. But I think, Jordy, we may see Deion Sanders set a record that probably won't be broken for a long time about one season roster churn. Because I really think out of all those kids that you saw in that room with him the other day when he introduced himself, you may have like 20 of them who are still there next year.
Right.
And I want you to think about that. That is an 80. Well, it's supposed to be an 85-man scholarship list plus walk-ons. And I'm talking about 20 of them, 25, 20, something like that, still being there when they suit up next fall. And the rest is going to be a combination of recruiting class and just a massive wave of transfer portal arrivals. And I don't know what in the world they'll be year one, but I do think a lot of what, for better or worse, some people wanted to tout as the new way of college football, it's going to be on full display there. And I don't think they would have hired him if we were not in this new climate where you could do what you can do now.
Yeah. What do you anticipate the transfer portal? We have a question coming in from a listener at #AskPate from Stephen Miller. Josh, how does the influx of portal affect recruiting high school players down the road? I think it's a great question.
It's a terrible thing for high school football.
Yeah.
It's all I keep hearing from high school football coaches is, I had one the other day say, I know it's not popular to do a high school football topic on your show per se, but just know when you talk about who's being victimized on late kick and you keep talking about college program A or college program B, he said it's the high school programs that are being victimized more so than any college program is. And right now, I talked to one the other day who said, I have got a wide receiver right now who 5 years ago would be a slam dunk mid-tier Power 5 kid. And he said, I'm struggling to get him G5 offers right now because everybody is allocating roster spots for the portal. Everyone believes they're going to solve all their problems in the portal. And right now, what's going to happen is you're going to see some coaching staffs get too accustomed to leaning on the portal as a crutch. And it's basically like just eating dessert nonstop because you think you're filling yourself up, and you are for a little while, but you're not getting any real long-term sustenance from it. You're just eating cake over and over and over again. Right. And eventually you realize, boy, I should have mixed some chicken in there. I should have had some steak, maybe some turnips and tomatoes every now and then, because that is how you sustain yourself long-term. And once you realize that, it's normally too late. And especially if you're a college coaching staff, once you realize I have leaned on dessert for too long, it's probably going to be too late, and you're going to have a Colorado situation on your hands.
What do you make of these Final Four matchups?
Well, look, the Ohio State-Georgia one I think is going to get the most shine, as it should. That's probably the one I'm going to go to. I was going to do a segment last night, and I'll probably just push it to Thursday. So here, let's you and I practice it right now. I think we could make the argument that this is the most important game of Ryan Day's career so far. And that's on the heels of what was the previous most important game of his career. They got blown out by Michigan. Okay, they got blown out by him last year. And in the other biggest game of his career, they got blown out by Alabama in the title game. So that's 3 consecutive double-digit losses for Ryan Day in his biggest spot. Jordy, if they go to Atlanta and they lose like 33-13 to Georgia or something like that, it could really serve to neuter a lot of what they are as a program right now and what he is and what it seems like he was tracking to become as a head coach. I hate always boiling the stuff down to one 4-quarter game because I'm not a believer that a lot changes about you as a coach over 4 quarters, but I don't think that we can avoid a lot changing about the perception of you over 4 quarters if they get handled physically again, because there is no excuse. It's not like they're rebuilding a program. It's nothing like that. They've loaded up on top recruiting classes. They got a Heisman Trophy finalist at quarterback. They've got to get it done, point blank.
Would they rehire Urban? I
don't think they would, but I do think that we're getting closer to someone doing that. And I keep having people tell me who seem to be close to him, oh, no, he's not going back into coaching. No, he's telling you he's not going back into coaching because right now, in this moment, maybe he even believes that. But look, I'm just going to say it. I know Urban Meyer better than he does. And I know Urban Meyer is going back into coaching eventually. He's doing the right thing right now. Look, if you ever get fired as a head coach, go do TV. Dan Mullen's doing it perfectly right now. Go do TV. No one's stock decreases on TV. You only look smarter and smarter on TV as everyone else who actually has to coach on Saturdays look dumber and dumber, and you will be hired again. Just go pay your time and sit in a studio somewhere.
Where does Hugh Freeze fit in this pecking order of coaches, and what impact does he have on Auburn immediately?
It depends on how sellable he is, and I mean him. Like how much is he able to get people in the portal able to buy into his vision? And I have a sneaking suspicion he'll be better at getting players and families of players to buy in than he is the general public. And it's just because I think it's a more bottom line deal for players and families than it is for the general public. If you're 37 and you sell insurance in Montgomery, you don't have any personal skin in the game. It's just, how do I feel about him? Ooh, he makes me feel icky. I don't like him. But if your 37-year-old accountant there in Montgomery has an 18-year-old son, I don't want to do the math. Yeah, the math works out. Okay. 18-year-old son, then, hey, maybe I can bite the bullet if I think Hugh Freeze can get my guy to the league 3 years from now. And so I think he's going to do okay. I wonder what kind of staff he's going to put together, because that's still in the process of happening right now. And I don't know if he's having a hard time or an easy time there, but I think it is imperative that he puts together a staff. Everyone stops paying attention once you hire the head coach nationally. That's the starting point. What kind of staff are you putting together? That's the bigger question.
Last one for the head coach of Pate State, Josh Pate. Follow him on Twitter at Late Kick Josh. Remember, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 7 o'clock Central on YouTube. You were in the Georgia Dome last week. You saw LSU get handled by Georgia and lose the title game 50-30. I've seen a lot of people calling Georgia the new Bama. Do you believe that? Are they here to stay?
I think they are here to stay. I think they're the caliber that we've seen Alabama be in the past. I don't think you can possibly know if they're the new Bama, because Bama didn't become Bama over a 2 or 3 year stretch. They became Bama over a decade-plus stretch. And winning a championship, or if they repeat here, even winning a couple of titles, that's really hard to do. But we saw Dabo Swinney do that. You know, we saw Clemson pop briefly in the late teens as a very formidable 1B to Nick Saban in Alabama. Well, I'm not saying they've disappeared, but certainly they did not maintain that exact level of dominance. Now, Georgia, I think, is where Clemson was 5 years ago. The $1 million question is going to be, when we wake up one morning in 2028, are they still there? If they're still there, then and only then do you know you have a new Bama.
Josh Pate, the best. You must follow him if you're a college football fan. He is on Twitter at LateKickJosh and every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday on YouTube with great information for the college football fan out there. Keep up the great work, man. Talk soon. Thank you again.
All right, man. Happy Monday.
All right, man. See ya. There he is, Josh Pate checking in. Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. RMB-Builders. I don't know, man.
Was that an
I didn't know if you all had like an inside joke
No,
together.
no,
I
no,
thought I
wasn't
missed
me.
something.
Me
That wasn't
too.
me.
Happy Monday.
RMB Builders, RMB-Builders.com, and on Instagram. Remember, RMB Builders is a great construction team here, headed up by Rhett Bourgeois and his crew. If you need any help, the RMB team can help you out today. Whether it is reconstruction, you're looking for a redesign, you want to build your dream home going into a new year, let RMB Builders help you out. RMB-Builders.com.
Happy Monday.
Josh Pate just texted me. He goes, "I dead serious. Just thought it was Monday."
No way.
It's Wednesday, bro.
Oh,
He goes,
that's
"Can you,
sad
can
when
you,
that
fi- he
happens.
goes, can you fix that?" I said, "I don't."
Yeah. Post.
But I mean, I guess it's better. He thought it was Monday, but it's really Wednesday. So
That
worked
is.
out better.
That is a
Worked out
win.
better. Yeah, that is a win.
That is a win.
That is a win,
That was a
Josh.
huge
But
win.
it's
That's
just hard to get there.
It is.
Like-
Is it? It's Wednesday.
Right.
Okay.
So his Monday and Tuesday
Yeah.
must have been something.
It must have been. It must have been.
I mean, like, I'm almost like want to call him back.
Me
I know.
too.
I want to know, like, what happened
I'll
on
call-
your
you want me to call
Sunday
him?
yesterday. It must have been a freaking party.
Yeah, call him back real quick. Live call him.
We need to know. He's going to be like,
Yeah.
why?
This will be funny.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
What did you do Monday and Tuesday?
This
You're,
is
you're
look,
on
we
live.
did-
You're on live. You're on live. Real quick.
Look, we did a big transfer portal show 2 days ago, and it threw my entire equilibrium off.
Okay.
And so then I did a show last night, which became the Sunday show for me. And I don't have anything to do until noon today, which is my normal Monday routine. And so it is Monday. So happy Monday.
Okay.
Happy Monday.
Thank you. I mean, everybody looked at me like, "Do y'all have an inside joke?" I'm
thought I
like, "No, I
missed something."
swear, I don't know what that meant." All right, we get it. Thank you.
All right, appreciate
See
it.
you, man.
Happy Monday.
All right, guys.
There he is.
See you Tuesday.
Josh. Thank you. Thank you.
Talk to you tomorrow.
There he is, Josh Pate. Still
sport.
confused. Thought it was
Still.
Tuesday on the way out.
Yeah. I think he was traveling down on the job. Yeah, okay.
He needs a nap.
Bite the bait over there. Why don't you?
Yeah.
Welcome back. Carpool Queen is here.
Hey. Y'all,
Navigated
it's foggy
through
out there.
wet
I know.
traffic this
It's
morning.
so foggy.
Foggy.
Wrecks
It was an
everywhere.
eerie morning out there.
Yeah.
I slept in, man. I couldn't get moving.
Really?
Yeah.
No bicycle today?
No bicycle.
That's probably a good thing, Jordy. That would have been dangerous.
Oh, definitely.
The foggy
Biking it-
mist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the sleepwalking lady in the foggy mist?
She's been there earlier this week. She gave me a wave on Monday.
Oh, so she's awake.
She was awake on Monday. She was not awake on Tuesday.
Where-
Hat on. She goes, I mean, like, she gets dressed to sleepwalk.
How do
You
you
know
know
what I
that
mean?
she's
Yeah.
sleepwalking?
Well, because she's standing out
Oh,
there
I
with
guess
her head
I guess
down.
she's not officially sleepwalking. I guess she goes and just stands in the middle of the driveway. It is like, when I think about it, like, I kind of got to thinking about it. Yes, it's like, it's incredible how
Normal?
dangerous that is.
I know, it
I
really
mean, like, it
is.
really is, like, so dangerous. I mean, I've kind of mixed up the routine and, like, left a little earlier than I have. Sometimes I've left a little later than I normally do. I've left on time, and every time she's there.
So she's out there for a while.
Right, and like me and Kelly were driving by her house. We were cutting through to go somewhere, and she was working in the yard.
Oh.
And I was
So she
like,
moves.
"That's the house."
Can
and
you
she was like,
ask her?
and Kelly was like, "That's definitely like." She recognized her from
Yeah.
like the Erie video
pictures of her
I've,
like this.
I've taken while riding by.
So
Because some
weird.
mornings I'll like, as I'm like, I don't want her
Yeah.
to think that I'm like
Like a weirdo.
like have like a taser, like a gun up or something. You know what I mean? I'm like waving at her, but
Oh,
like
gosh.
like yesterday when Monday when she waved back, I was almost like,
It moves.
yes.
Would you be comfortable stopping and asking her?
No.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Paint the
would
picture.
I?
What's the
Like,
age?
you know, like, hey, what's going on? Do you just like being out in
Grandmother.
the morning air? Or maybe she'll be like, no, I sleepwalk and I end up
If
out
I had
there.
to guess her age, it would be 55 to 65.
And CJ, what do you think that she thinks about you? She's like, there's this
I think
guy
that
that runs
she
by on his
probably-
bike every morning.
She doesn't recognize me, or if she does, she does a
waved.
great job of hiding it. Like, I mean, like that was the first morning she's ever giving me any movement.
Sign of life.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I mean,
so
like the first
weird.
couple of times I saw it, I was like, "Yo,
You have
you know,
good.
like, are we good? Like, I mean,
Are we good?
where's your husband?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where is somebody that cares for you?
Well, maybe she's single.
Well,
in there.
yeah, I mean, 2 cars in the driveway and a
Oh.
boat.
Oh, well,
You know what I mean?
not.
Like,
Living
basketball
life.
goal. It's active
Oh,
over there,
okay.
man. I don't know.
I don't know either. I need you to find out, though.
What time?
Dana Kraft, homegirl needs a sleep study. I agree.
What time is this?
Daniel Glenn, she's not sleepwalking. She's Druid Pocket.
Druid Pocket. I feel like we said that
I
out
think
loud.
I think we just walked into it.
God, that's what I was
I
about to say.
think we
did.
just stepped into it.
I don't know what that is, though. I don't
I
understand.
think we just stepped into it. Hunter Fournette, take like 5 melatonin gummies and she should be good.
But it's the fact that the pictures you've taken, she's standing with her head down.
Yeah. I
like
mean,
she's asleep.
yeah, she is definitely sleeping. Or she is just standing in a state of like,
I'm just tired.
you know, I mean, like, she's got her head down and hands behind her back, and she is standing perfectly upright and still. Can you sleep standing up? Like, I mean,
I
can
don't
you
know. Have you ever known anybody
get
or lived
into
with
a
anyone to
deep
sleepwalk?
sleep? Yes, I have known someone that one of my friends' dads would sleepwalk when we were kids. We'd go over there, and his mom would tell us if you ever like get up in the middle of the night, if you sleep on the couch,
Be like,
if you're
hell
like,
no, I'm not getting up.
and she's like, if you see him and you're like, hey, and he doesn't say he's a sleepwalker, and you were like,
That's
say
so weird.
what?
That's bizarre.
Yeah, and like he would like walk around the house and like she said like would like do chores,
No.
like
That would be awesome.
like would like change like the trash bag,
Uh-uh.
like would do stuff, and like she would like walk into him like on nights and be like,
Well, you know,
Ed,
they say you're not supposed
Supposed to
to.
yeah,
touch
you're
him.
not supposed to. She
Yeah.
says that's what she was warning us.
Yeah.
Like, don't try and like,
Wake him up.
yeah, because he'll fight.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like,
Isn't that bizarre?
Do you think
dude,
that they?
this is a crazy deal, man.
Yeah.
If you sleepwalk, do you wake up tired? You're like, cause you're
Have
good.
to.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
Have to.
No.
stuff like shit. It's like, oh man, the dishes are
I
done.
mean, that's the
I
that's
took
the
the trash
deal. Like,
out.
at some point, she got out of bed and she has like a sweatshirt on. She's got a hat on. You know, she's got tennis shoes on. She's got shoes on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so she
got dressed.
has like physically done activity before she's gotten to the drive. I mean, Coach, this is 4:30 in the morning.
That's gonna be my next question.
It's like it's a window between 4:30 and 5, and sometimes I'll take the same route back that I take there, and she's still there
No, in the
It's
same
just-
spot.
in the same spot.
Okay, it's definitely sleepwalking then.
What is she smoking cigs?
There's no odor. You know what I mean? Like I don't smell anything. I don't smell nicotine. I don't smell.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because I could see maybe she like doesn't want her kids to see her smoking or her
I agree.
husband.
Yes,
She
yes,
goes there
right.
like I'm gonna go burn one right in the morning.
4:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's
or
the only time I can get
Let
out
me
here.
sneak out of here. Go hide behind the boat. You know what I mean? Like,
Back in the bed, smelling like a cig.
I don't know, man. It's just it's a strange scenario.
There's only so many things you could be doing,
right.
and sleepwalking is definitely on the table.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad for her
I do
because
too.
I do too. I feel.
Yeah, because she
Because,
could,
I
she
mean,
could
like,
be in danger.
Not only that, absolutely. I mean, it takes one car to pass by,
Yeah.
one person on. I mean, it's like, dude,
they're probably more scared of her than
Probably.
kind of like the same feeling that you have.
I mean, like, what if you
every
walked up
time
on her and
she's
she
out
just
here.
like wielded a sword at her
my
back
God.
and was like, "Step back."
She might.
You're like,
defending the house.
right. I knew I should have stayed on my bike.
That's bizarre.
Bikers.
I've never known anyone to sleepwalk. I did live with a roommate that had night terrors, and that
And would like scream.
yes.
Oh my God.
Katie, you used to leave your door open and some man got in your bed.
That was the same house that I lived with the girl that had night terrors
Wow,
in.
jeez,
Yeah.
Well,
that's scary.
maybe she wasn't. Maybe that man was getting in her bed.
He did also get in her bed, but she
Yeah.
really did have night terrors.
I would too. Strangers
I
are
know,
getting in my
right?
bed.
I know.
Did you know that about Katie?
That'll do it.
In college, they just left the door open and people were coming to their house and just get in bed with them. And they're
Well,
like,
it
oh,
was
it's not that
one
big
guy.
a deal.
It was like a guy that he was doing it all over town, but we lived in the Cotton District in Starkville. It's very safe. There's like bars
Sounds
all
like it.
around, restaurants, like everyone's lives close together, and we never locked our door. And he came in and like got in our bed and would claim that he was like drunk from the bar and
y'all
like
in the
didn't know
bed?
where he was. Yeah. And so, I mean, I saw him walk
The old
past
I'm
my
drunk,
door
I don't know
one
what I'm
day.
doing.
Well,
Yeah.
does it change anything?
It was really bizarre. And we had a dog. I mean, I had my dog there, and he claimed, I mean, he went to court. Like, he ended up getting caught and prosecuted. And, like, he said that, like, he befriended the dog because she was always outside because she could just go in and
Wait,
out
did
as
you
she
have to
pleased.
like go to the witness stand?
No, but my roommate did. I never like saw his face, and she did.
Holy.
I know. It was nuts.
Yeah, you should have. They should have done like a case study where you haven't seen him, but have like 3 guys get in bed and be like, no, that's him.
I know, right? Just rub my hand
It's
down.
like, no, that's the one.
No, but he can stay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. All right, we'll be
right
back.
now.
Hour 2, Jordy Culotta Show. Jacques coming through here at 8:30. When we come back, your mailbag questions.
Ooh, yeah.
Call in, text in, voicemail. Easy way to do it. Jump inside of the chat. Drop your question there. We'll answer them before we get out of here and before Jacques gets in here at 8:30. We'll start that when we get back here in the second hour. Coming to you, Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Oh, look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is.
Southern Eye Center is located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information,
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey, Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here we go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Wednesday, brought to you by Go Chevrolet, our friends over at Go, G-E-A-U-X, Chevrolet.com. Your mailbag questions open now for business. And Billy, if you're still out there, Billy, mad on a Wednesday, buddy.
He's not, because we dropped from 527 to 525, so he might
have No
he
way.
took one with him?
He might have left.
No way he left. He's typing all these messages out. Billy, I know you're there. Pick up the phone and call. 225-229-7741. 225-229-7741. Let's talk a little sports, Billy.
Yeah.
What type of sports you want to talk, man? We can talk anything here in the mailbag segment. We'll open it up to your questions. You can get in through the chat, whether you want to just type them in inside of the chat there on YouTube, or if you want to call us, we're open for business at 225-229-7741. Text us, same phone number. Here we go. We live?
I'm hoping it's Billy.
Absolutely.
Billy.
Good morning. Have a take. Don't suck. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Eric from Lafayette.
Hey, Eric. How are you? Good morning.
Doing good, guys. Love the show.
Thank you.
Hey, two-part question.
Yes, sir.
Kayshawn Booty will probably be number 7 next year. Has there been a Tiger that's been 7 2 years in a row?
Yes, Fournette wore it 2 years in a row. Fournette wore it 3 years in a row.
Okay.
And let me think.
Tyron would have.
Tyron would have for sure.
But it's a short list. That would be it.
Yes. Trey White was the only other. Trey White wore 18 2 years in a row. But wearing number 7, I think Leonard would be the only one that's worn it. And I guess Patrick Peterson started it.
Right.
And he was the one that wore it for 3 years as well.
Okay, good deal. So the second part.
Yes, sir.
Man, all I keep thinking about is if Nuss does come back, does Walker Howard become is he in the same situation that Bech is in? with all the talent in the quarterback room and all the talent coming in, what stops him from leaving? I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for calling, man. And it's a great question because I think that quarterback room has got a lot of eyeballs on it right now. I think that not only are we media members, people outside that are fans that are waiting to see what happens with the shakeout here of LSU's quarterback room, I think internally, there's a lot of guys waiting to see what happens. Is Jaden Daniels going to go pro? Is he coming back? What's Garrett Nussmeier going to do after his performance? Is Daniels going to play in the bowl game? Because this give Nussmeier another opportunity to showcase who he is as a starter, prepare as a starter, build the game plan with him, let him go out there and execute. If he goes out there and eats like he did in the second half of the SEC championship game, you got a really good, really good problem on your hand, because you got one football and you got three players, and at some point Brian Kelly has talked about how much he likes each one of them. I mean, middle of the season he couldn't get enough of talking about Walker Howard. When Jacques asked him about it, Jacques will be here at 8:30. And he went into it. Nussmeier in the preseason, he really had a lot of love for Nussmeier in the spring and in the preseason. And then obviously Jaden Daniels was the starter who, he ultimately chose. So, Kelly, he likes all of these guys, or at least publicly he has played like he likes all these guys, and not just personally, but he likes their game. So it will be interesting to see what happens with the quarterback room over the next couple of weeks and months of how this thing shakes out. I had my money on Walker Howard as the starter for next season. I really did. I thought that was going to how it was played. I'm talking about even going into the Texas A&M game. I thought that for as good as Jaden Daniels played all season long, I thought that he gave himself enough of a chance to go play at the next level. And I thought somebody would tell him, hey, man, if you come out, we might take you early second round, third round, get you into camp, put you in this position where you don't have to play immediately, but we'll get you ready to play. And, maybe he wanted to come back and be a first-round pick. I don't know. But, I figured that the future was Walker Howard and LSU. And then Nussmeier goes out there in the second half and, pulls the Nuss bus up and loads everybody on it. You know what I mean? I hadn't run into anybody that hadn't said, what about Garrett Nussmeier? Nussmeier's got a player. It's just, and then you have Jaden Daniels. So I don't know, man. I don't. It's interesting. What he does in the bowl, who he plays. If Nussmeier goes out there and slings it for 500 again, and then you look at this wide receiver room. And you go down, you got Kayshawn, you got Thomas, you got Hilton, you got Neighbors, you got Sampson coming in, you got Brown coming in, you got all these guys that are going to be there. And Nussmeier's got that type of
juice.
Whew.
But this is the classic case of LSU, right? They've never, LSU football, has never been able to settle on a quarterback, right? And you've had Joe Burrow, and that feels like it's been about it. Every other time, there's always some sort of who should it be. And Jaden Daniels just led you to a 9-win season, SEC championship appearance, and it's still they clamor for the backup. And I understand that what Nussmeier looked like, but he also scored 2 touchdowns, like I said Monday, excuse me. He also turned it over twice. He almost matched Jaden Daniels' turnovers in one half of football. You get the good with the bad.
I never thought about that. Who was before Burrow?
Miles Brennan.
And then was it Etling before that?
Etling.
But together?
No,
you're saying there was not one. Who was the quarterback in the back?
They brought Etling in through the
portal.
He was a graduate transfer.
Transferred in.
And then it was Miles Brennan.
But who is Etling's backup?
Miles Brennan?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He's been here forever. But then you had the revolving door of Max Johnson and TJ Finley.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure that thing out. Brennan again. And it never feels like it's been cemented.
Right.
Or at least fans like to draw up the controversy when it's just funny how they play such a different style of football that it's easier to do whenever you saw Nussmeier, it's hard not to be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, it was so electric. But there's a reason they picked Jaden to be the starter. It's because he was your best option to win you football games, albeit it might not be the way you want it to look.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree. I mean, I think that Daniels gave you the best chance to win because of the way that the team was built. And you had an inconsistent offensive line. You had an offensive line that, had still needed to answer questions of, could they hold up?
But he's done such a great job. Why are people clamoring for Nuss over Daniels now?
Nussmeier looks like a quarterback.
You got fireworks.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball's in the air. You got guys catching touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That offense is moving.
people love to watch
Explosive
that.
play.
Right.
And I think more because of what you have on the outside. The most talented part of LSU's team is their wide receivers, and probably will be again next year.
Yeah.
Not probably, it will be. And when you have that, you got to use it.
Yeah.
And a certain quarterback gives you a better opportunity to use that. And Nussmeier showed you in the second half that he can just sling it.
Right.
But what comes with that is the other team will catch it too.
Yeah.
When the ball's in the air like that.
Drive fast.
And the to me, the deciding factor on playing Daniels was his emphasis he put on protecting the football.
Yeah.
It was almost overkill.
Right.
If you remember, Kelly, I think going into the Tennessee game was like,
turn it over.
It's okay if he throws an interception. Like we've told him, it's okay if you throw one. You would have not had to told that to Garrett Nussmeier.
Right.
He threw one with his left hand to Southern.
Yeah. But I appreciate
What's going on, brother?
Oh, there he is. Fish biting or what?
It's Clint from the Parish, bro.
Yeah, I know who it is, bro.
Laying fence posts.
I know who it is.
Man, hey, Merry Christmas to y'all. Hey, the redfish are rolling in. It's this time of year.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time to be down on the Gulf right now, huh?
Yeah, there's a time for every fish, and this is the redfish and the black drum season right now.
What is Santa Claus bringing Clint from the Parish?
A fence post.
Man, I got a whole bunch of lures, and I got me a brand new cast net, and
got no excuse in 23.
And my wife bought me a couple cases of fence posts.
There it is, man.
Simple man.
He's easy, man. Just a simple man. What's on your mind?
Far, and she got one surprise for me. I can't open that to Christmas though, so I'm kind of scared of that one a little bit.
The papers.
Hey, I got a question for y'all, man. I think Daniels might have been the best quarterback for this year, right?
Yeah.
And as far as us winning games and that, but as far as our receivers, like one touchdown for the year, 2 touchdowns for the year, and everybody talks about Nussmeier, and I'm not saying he's the answer. Man, I think you gotta, give him at least a few games of either Nuss or either. I like to see Walker Howard, man. Honestly, man, the way Nuss throws that ball. If I was a receiver and I'm running 50 routes in a row and not getting the ball, I mean, I'd be like, man, shit on this. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Right.
And I just don't feel like Daniels has the arm. I still don't feel that way. I mean, I still think he did a great job. I just don't think he's got the arm strength and the just anticipation. And I never ever seen him hit a receiver in stride all year. So except, I'm talking about in stride where they can keep running for a touchdown, not where they got to come back, fall down, stop. I just want y'all thoughts on maybe, I mean, I kind of hope he moves on. I mean, he's been playing 4 or 5 years and gives Walker or either Nuss a shot, like more than just, put him in the game. Well, he threw 2 picks, but he threw 3. I thought he looked great in the game. But I mean, you got to give him a larger sample size,
No, I agree.
Well, that's all the comments I got, man. Y'all have a happy Christmas, man, and y'all doing a great job, man. Y'all the number one show out there, no doubt.
I appreciate that, Clint. Merry Christmas, man. All right, man. Redfish, baby, redfish.
Black drum.
Look, here's how I feel on it. If you want my quarterback for the future with LSU, I'm riding with Walker Howard. And I know I say that blindly to him not playing at LSU, but I have seen him in practice, and I've heard too many people that are close to the situation talk about him. And there is no doubt in my mind that they believe, LSU, coaches, and even some of his teammates believe that Walker Howard is the most talented quarterback in that room. As far as just pure skill, does he still need to develop physically? Does he still need to develop, seeing the game at that level, that speed? Sure. But as far as the tool set goes, Walker Howard is the best quarterback in that room. And I think that is what LSU believes is the future of the program. How they get there from here is going to be a very winding and feeling like a dramatic road, right? Because you've got Nussmeier making plays. You've got Daniels leading them to 9 wins in his first season as a starter with Kelly in as the head coach. All of those guys can come back this season. And I think to the quarterback race, as we've talked about over the last couple of weeks and months here, we are in the golden age of LSU quarterbacks as far as the competition goes. Maybe not on the field and getting the numbers, and you don't have the Heisman. Take Burrow out of it, right? I mean, Burrow kind of lives on a land by himself. But I'm telling you what Burrow has affected. The calls was Burrow. The effect is that now you've got 3 straight classes with Elite 11 guys in it. When's the last time that LSU has had that? Never since I've been covering the program. And now that it's here and they're continuing to roll in, right, from Hurley down in Alabama, down in Florida, Colin Hurley over in Florida, to Ricky Collins here in Baton Rouge, to Garrett Nussmeier 2 years ago, to Walker Howard now, to scooping up Jaden Daniels in the transfer portal. You've become a real player on the quarterback market. To stay consistent in that market, you got to know how to manage and develop the guys that you have on campus and make sure when they play, they're playing at a high level. Just like what happened to Jaden Daniels this season. It was obvious that he was improving each time he took the field. Daniels deserves a ton of credit for that, but it's also evident that there was some coaching going on. That they were getting this guy prepared and getting him better each and every week, and Daniels was taking it, putting it on the field, and LSU was winning because of it. So they've got to continue to develop the guy, but more importantly, they got to pick the right guy. And I'm not, that's not my choice. It's not my career that hinges on the quarterback at LSU. The people that it does hinge on, I believe, they see Walker Howard as that guy. And I don't believe that they will allow him to transfer. And I think that the quarterback competition in the spring, the quarterback competition in the offseason, the quarterback competition in fall camp next year is going to be as juicy, as competitive, as big of a storyline as LSU has had at that position. I mean, since you tell me.
Do you mean they won't allow Walker to transfer?
Yes.
Okay.
If he went into the room today and said, I want to be the starter for next year.
I don't think that they would tell him that. I don't think
No,
they would
me
say
either.
you're guaranteed to be the starter, but they
No,
would
I'm
say,
saying
Walker, man,
if
let
you
me tell
go all
you,
out.
you're the leader in the clubhouse on what's going to be a very fierce competition. If you continue to develop and you can get this offense and you can pick up with the speed of the SEC, you're about to be a 3-year starter in the SEC minimum.
Well, what if
2-year at
Jaden
least.
comes back, though?
It's probably going to
Katie,
be a competition.
I'm just the
sad
last
to me.
4 minutes is how I feel on it. I think that
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels gives you, like Jaden Daniels.
What does he do? Like, what's he thinking?
I would go to the league.
Yeah?
I mean, I think that he has put himself in a and look, here's the argument to be made by Daniels, and everybody's got advantage of being here next year, right? So if Daniels comes back and he gets into this competition and he wins it, he could go from what I believe right now, a second-round pick to a potential first-round pick, maybe even a top 10 pick if he comes back and has a similar season to what he had this one and carries LSU to a post game and to the SEC title and does all that stuff.
Right.
he also could come back and lose the competition and sit on the bench and have people kind of not forget, but wonder why it didn't translate year to year
right
at LSU. So maybe his stock goes from a 2nd round pick to a 5th round pick. It's a lot of money you're losing, right?
I think he's technically probably more of like a 5th to 7th round pick right now.
Could be.
Which is why he
Really?
would come back to try to play himself into that.
I also believe that it only takes one team, and in the NFL, Jaden Daniels has the skill set that they're looking for right
Agreed.
now.
But him coming off an injury, probably won't play in the bowl game because if you saw like BK's comments, he's like, we're not doing anything with him for the next 2 weeks, essentially. So that's just a tough look to try to go get ready for the combine or get invited just because you are out of sight, out of mind. He would have to kind of have some – he wouldn't be able to go to the Senior Bowl, can he?
Yes, he would be able to.
Okay, because that's what he would need.
Because he's been he's been on he would be a 5th-year senior. Because he this was his 4th year to start, and that's something else too. I mean, if you've started 4 years in college football, the tape's out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to come back 1 year and change the tune of who you are, right? Dramatically.
Yeah.
Now, to play around Kayshon Boutte and play around Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and play around John Emery potentially, that could help you out a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that could make you look a lot better than Arizona State did.
For sure.
And don't think Jaden didn't see Nuss in the playmaking also. Like, don't think that he'd say, like, damn, I could probably do some of that. And lest we forget, before he gets initially taken out the game, Jaden Daniels, he was pretty much carving you up offensively. Like, he was doing all the things that you wanted to see because they took his legs away because he was hurt.
Right.
So he had to go play drop back quarterback, and he was able to do it at a pretty efficient clip. But Nussmeier just came in and did it a totally opposite way. Just, I'm going to throw it 60 yards in the air down the field. And LSU fans are like, we haven't seen this all year. So it's just the sex versus the consistency.
Yeah. And, for Nussmeier, I think he, he's riding high.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
His confidence is blinging right
Has to
now.
be.
And if he gets this opportunity in the bowl game, then, he's again playing with house money. And he's playing with a roster that can make you look really good, and he is a guy that's going to take some shots. And, if he has a similar type game, there's going to be a lot of intrigue around him,
right?
Both here and around college football. So, I think that everybody has everybody's got a fight. Everybody's got,
I know.
To me, and, I saw somebody, you think you know Brian more than Brian Kelly? No, man. I don't. But this is a platform where we give our opinion. And this is all it is. And Brian Kelly's not listening to this show, taking this opinion by any means. But my opinion is that Walker Howard is the quarterback that they believe the future is in the most. Right? And I think that he's the one that, if everybody's moving on, let's say, who's most likely to go to the NFL? Jaden Daniels. Who's most likely to go into the transfer portal? Garrett Nussmeier. Who's most likely to stay? Walker Howard. Like, that would be my, F, marry, kill. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's
right on.
I mean, that's how I feel about it,
I think we got a Hunter Hall incoming.
Yay.
Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hunter Hall here in Huntsville.
Hey, Hunter.
How are you, buddy? Merry Christmas.
Hey, outside of missing the playoffs, I'm really good.
Yeah, what did you think about your coach slutting around Fox Sports on Saturday?
I've never seen him so desperate.
Good Lord. I didn't know he was still banging like that. What an old man, still slinging it like that.
What else
like
would
he
you
was back
expect
at LSU.
him to do? What else would you expect him to do?
Not that.
I was shocked.
That was surprising. I figured he would have pushed the AD out there.
No, he's got to get out. I mean, he's the face of the program. I mean, hey, you look at the top 25 teams and you see who would be worse off for going into the playoffs. Nobody would be worse off going into the playoffs, and he did what he should have done. So
I'm glad you feel good about it, Hunter. Is Drake May going to be the quarterback in Tuscaloosa next year?
Well, I threw that out there. A
couple of weeks ago, yeah.
and I want to say I was kind of laughed off the set. So, hey, I got Lloyd. I think I'm owed an apology because I'm never going to be able to watch Dr. Pepper commercials ever again. To set the scene, Saturday, the blocked field goal return for a touchdown. Everybody's on that live stream sitting there trying to figure out what they just saw.
Yep.
And then you've got Caskey over here trying to explain the rules, think about what the rules are. I think you can do that. And then you got Noah over there in the corner, beside himself. And then all of a sudden you just see Lloyd. He says, "Oh my gosh, look at that guy's hog." I'll never be able to look at those Dr. Pepper commercials that way.
That's what the live streams are for. Come join us. Take a trip in my brain.
Man, it was there, and I'll never be able to unsee that.
Yeah.
So, hey, good work on that Will Wade podcast. As a guy that doesn't like Will Wade, didn't think he would ever like Will Wade. That a lot of good stuff there. I talk about scheduling and all that stuff. So, and why are we calling tournaments, these Christmas or Thanksgiving tournaments, MTEs now?
Yeah, I didn't.
We just kept that one moving.
Yeah, we just kind of kept the train moving on that.
Felt dumb if we said
I
anything.
did need an explanation after that. I was like, what was that, dude? But he told me. Hunter, thank you for calling, bro.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. What's your name? Where you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
Hey, what's happening? It's Sean from Detroit.
Sean,
I watch the show, man. I love this show.
Shout out
and
to
I keep up with my LSU football through you. But I kind of, I think Jaden Daniels should come back.
Yeah.
Because he kind of reminds me of the Joe Burrow. Not, don't get me wrong. Let me hesitate.
No. I get you, though.
He's not a Joe Burrow, but I think he reminds me of that Joe Burrow year before when he played USF. Am I right?
Yeah.
UCF?
2018.
Yeah, man. That season. We didn't expect much out of Joe, but he grew up after that hit. Yeah. And I think we saw Nuts come up in there and, air it out. I looked at his face on the sideline. So you know what? I think he had an epiphany. I think if he came back, he could expound on that and get better. That's what I think. Because his legs was phenomenal. All he had to do was get the confidence and let it rip. And I think he's seen Nuts get in there. I think it might elevate his game. And if I was him, I would come back.
Yeah.
But because like I said, I think. I don't know I know you know pretty much have more intel than I do. Watch Walker Howard. Of course, he's a legacy guy. And he probably is a better drop back quarterback. But that leg experiment, that his movement with the legs was beautiful.
Yeah, no doubt.
And like I said, man, I just think him sitting on the sideline watching us getting that work, put in a little work, it grew his confidence. You know what? I think I can do that because sometimes steel sharp as steel.
I agree with you. No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think this quarterback competition is going to be fierce.
Yeah, but I did like when I saw a show where you had the young guy from Florida. I mean, I like that dude, confidence.
Colin
this
Hurley?
guy like 17 years old.
No, he's 15.
Yeah, he's amazing.
15. Damn. The way he was talking, goddamn, we might get. I said, we might hitting the holy grail of quarterbacks.
I'm telling you, Ricky Collins is a player too.
And that Indiana guy refused to come because he was scared, to get in the SEC competition. Mm-hmm. This young guy said, I'm coming. So I look forward to LSU next year, man. Like I said, yeah, Georgia put a little whipping on us, but they know we coming. I know you don't like my man Orgeron, but one thing I like what he said about Alabama. Yeah. We coming.
He did. He let him know.
And we ain't scared. And we ain't backing down. That's why I saw out of LSU when they played Georgia. We're gonna be back, man, for real. And if Jay come back, I think, and Butte come back. That boy, number 11, oh, my God, he's a horse thoroughbred. We got horses.
Bro.
We got horses.
Bro.
We got to let them boys out the barn. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you got to call back every week, man.
Call back next Wednesday. I love you.
I watch this show every morning, man, Detroit.
Motown.
Man, you keep me, I'm telling you. Especially Lloyd, man. Look, I saw Lloyd on, when they showed Lloyd on the back of somebody's neck. dancing after the Alabama game. Man, that was shit. I wish I could go back to my college days. You know,
there was no rules that night.
I'm a Dillon University alum.
Nice.
You know, in 1994.
Nice.
You know, like I said, when I see when you doing LSU proud, man. I like your show, and like I said, I tune in every morning from work, man. It's like I said, it's must see for me.
Man, I appreciate you watching.
Y'all doing a real great job, man, for real.
Man,
Love
I
your
appreciate
positivity.
that. Thank you for your attitude. Thank you for calling in. I'll talk to you all next week.
But I'm telling you, we coming, dude. That's what I'm saying, man.
I believe it. Dion, baby.
I'm telling you. Look, I understood. Brian Kelly, once he get those big corn-fed white boys from the Midwest to come down there to Baton Rouge, oh, man, it's on and popping. Alabama, no, they know. That's why I like the Brian Kelly hire. He's going to recruit those big corn-fed white boys out that we have up in Detroit. I know they're coming down. Eating their kielbasa burgers. I'm sorry, when you start seeing a lot there, Joe Ski and those skis.
The big Polish boys.
Yeah, the big Polish boys.
Big Polish boys,
for
real. They're like attacking. That's when you know we're back.
Bro, you're awesome, dude.
We got the horses.
Thank you for calling,
Take care, man.
Have a great day.
Thank
Listen to
you.
him up in Motown.
Oh man, he needs a segment.
That was good
I
stuff.
Love it.
But y'all get them big white boys.
The skis.
The skis.
That was
Katie,
great.
tell them about your restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City on Phil Street with their St. Louis style pizza.
That's what you just said.
All their deli specialties. Go see them. It's a great time to go see them. Christmas time, they're super busy too. Katie's and their sister restaurant, Francesca. They can feed all your picky eaters.
Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Neighborhood restaurant down in New Orleans. Check them out. And as Katie said, the Francesca's sister restaurant, the sandwich joint over in New Orleans is awesome. All right, Jacques here. We'll talk LSU. We'll get back more into a little college football discussion. We come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
That was like a good fine ball.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them. JohnsonSpillers.com.
Back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live on this Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we bring in our friend Jacques Doucet from WAFB as our news partner. And of course, WFB 9 Sports, doing a great job. Was on the press conference with Brian Kelly yesterday as bowl prep gets kind of going here. I got to be honest, Jacques. Good to see you, buddy. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I got short sleeves on in December here.
Yeah.
It's 83, that's why.
Yeah, if you want to get some exercise in, I think it's going to be like in the 80s until next Tuesday or something. Get outside.
100-degree Christmas. Where was I on starting this interview? I wanted to start
Bowl.
from yes, bowl. What do you know about? Do you know anything about Purdue?
It has the feel of when LSU played Iowa in that Outback Bowl at the end of 2013 in terms of the opponent doesn't really move the needle, right? I think Iowa was 8-4. They were unranked. This team is 8-5 and unranked. I think their quarterback has over 3,000 yards passing. I think they have a big-time rusher, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a 1,200, 1,300-yard rusher. I looked it up a little bit. A receiver. That's it. The receiver's big time. And I think they played only 2 teams that were ranked at the time they played them in the regular season, and they were both ranked 21st. And then, so they're similar from LSU in the aspect of they both won their divisions and they both, kind of lost in lopsided fashion in their championship games. But I don't know a whole lot about Purdue. I know there's the whole, obviously the Drew Brees aspect there and whatnot, but I don't know a whole lot about them yet. No.
What about LSU's news this week? Let's start with Kayshon Boutte coming back. What was your reaction to see that news come across the wire?
Well, being at the SEC championship game, I think I had mentioned to you early in the year, I had wondered, okay, has he lost a step, or those dynamic plays that we saw at the end of 2020 into 2021, were they still there? And when he catches the ball against the Georgia defense and he had 6 guys in red surrounding him and just dusted them on that catch and run, my first thought is, why haven't we seen this more during the year? Couldn't we have done this 4 or 5 more times? But then also, okay, he's got the speed. The electricity is still there. So it was a common thought that he was going to go pro, that he was leaving. I mean, he sat here right here on this show, right, and said, us three-year guys, we don't need to be here longer than we need to. Get in and get out, right? So I thought, that sets a much different tone heading into this bowl game as opposed to a year ago where people were jumping off the ship left and right.
Right.
And so, and still we'll see what happens. I mean, there may be some guys that don't play in this bowl game. Obviously, Jack Bech won't be playing in this bowl game, and some others. But I think it sets a great tone heading into the offseason. And I think it's important for LSU to win this bowl game. I think you do not want to go into the offseason on a 3-game losing streak at 9-5. I think, you win your 10th game. I think it does do a lot for you in the offseason. And one of our favorite teams in LSU history was a 1987 team. Going back, I mean, that's a whole, galaxy far, far away. But, talking to those guys back then that had been part of a Sugar Bowl against Nebraska that they got trounced, a Liberty Bowl against Baylor that was a debacle that nobody wanted to be there, and a Sugar Bowl against Nebraska in which they were beaten soundly in '86. They all kind of decided, okay, we need to win this bowl game. Mm-hmm. We need to kind of, and I would like to see kind of LSU, it is the new transfer portal era and all that, but you would like to see the guys say, okay, this is important. We need to win this last game and go into the offseason.
10-1-1, that team finished.
10-1-1, 5th in the country.
Yeah, they had to get that South Carolina win in the bowl game, in the Gator Bowl, to get to that 10th win.
Yeah. Tommy Hudson and Wendell Davis, their final game together.
They chopped them up that day.
Yeah, it was the Black Death defense South
right.
Carolina had,
That's
and they were bringing the house, and Hodson just like
he called an audible, that was like back when like you would see him like he was like checking the play to Davis, like looking at him, like changing the play, and they hit him like on threw it over the top, and that Raji McGee and Wendell Davis were doing the cabbage patch in the end zone. They were celebrating
the Nike mesh jerseys that were untucked, and
the low Jeff Boss cleats with the purple check. Dude, that team was awesome.
Yeah.
Harvey Williams had just gotten hurt.
Yeah,
against Tulane in the regular season finale. All right, Jack Bech, one of our favorites, right?
Yeah.
You've been knowing the Beches for a long time, covered him in high school. We've both seen him play a lot of basketball and football growing up, and now here at LSU. Had a great freshman season, inconsistent sophomore year where he was banged up, the wide receiver depth and everything that went into it. And then yesterday makes it official. He's going to the portal. What do you make of his time at LSU and then the story of him leaving?
Well, it's disappointing because you hear LSU fans say it. You hear Brian Kelly say it. We want guys that want to be here, right? We want guys that appreciate the program, that appreciate running out of the tunnel. And Jack Bech is at the top of that list. I mean, he grew up, like his dad told me, LSU, this is all he's ever known. This is all he ever wanted was to play for LSU. And, you know, his first game out of the chute, UCLA, Rose Bowl, Pasadena, the first third down, Max Johnson throws to Jack Bech for a first down and leads the team in receptions his first year. Obviously, Kayshawn got hurt, but there were a lot of, like, I think it was against Central Michigan, or he makes that one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. And
the Bama touchdown.
Yeah, he scores a touchdown against Bama. All these circus catches. The one against Arkansas where Nuss scrambles out and chunks it to him, and he makes the play in the back of the end zone. A lot of electric stuff. And I thought at the time, this is a guy whose stuff is never going to put him as a first-round draft pick. This is a guy who could play 4 years at LSU and maybe even, set a receiving record, because he's going to play 4 years. A Wes Welker, so to speak,
catches everything.
Catches everything. Now look, he had an injury in fall camp. He didn't play a whole lot, and then they kind of threw him a bone to be a punt returner, and I think that he was trying to do too much on the punt returns. I'm not involved in the offensive game plan. I'm getting a handful of plays here and there. This is my one chance, and he fumbled a couple against Tennessee and Florida. And so, and then he has the ultimate, we could have tried it 1,000 times, and the ball's not going to bounce off his helmet, against Georgia. I don't think that was
his last play for LSU, huh?
He caught
one. Did he catch one
No, he caught one over the middle that he turned and sprinted on. But
okay, good. You don't want that the Traquan effect.
But that'll definitely be an image that you hold.
I mean, the family is disappointed. They're heartbroken, and it's just it's a tough thing. Not everyone who goes to LSU, their dreams are realized, and so he's in the transfer portal. I guess there's no way of talking him out of it, like Miles Brennan happened last year, but we'll see. But yeah, Jack has been a very popular player. Certainly did well in the NIL circuit because people like him and want him to represent their stuff. So it's disappointing.
What do you make of the transfer portal? You got 1,008 kids in it right now. I doubt that this was the intent, but with no regulation on it, this is where it is.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think there can be avenues for guys to go to different schools, but it's the guys who are already successful at a school and starting and doing well that are looking to leave. I think it's a little bit like the NBA draft, in which you can point to a handful of guys and say, "Well, Kobe did it. Well, LeBron did it." Like the straight out.
Garnett.
What's that?
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, you point to those guys the straight out of high school or whatever, and then you point to a million other guys who left college basketball early and went undrafted and all that. And so I think it's kind of the same thing. A lot of guys are in the portal and they're finding out they're not as loved as they thought they would be. And if LSU's wide receiver core is loaded, if Jack Bech finds another place to go catch 50, 60 passes a year, that's great. And I don't think Jack Bech is a guy who runs from work or responsibility or whatnot, but I think there are some guys out there who, they're running from the real world, and eventually the real world is going to hit you in the face, and you got to work for a boss or whatnot, and if you've got shortcomings, then they're going to hold you back. So I don't know. I think it's I don't. It's funny, Jack Bech represented LSU at SEC Media Days, too. That just crossed my mind, too.
That's right.
And so like LSU women's basketball, for example. The two young ladies that Mulkey had with her combined have played 1 year at LSU. In the old days, the guys you took there
taking
were
your most experienced players.
your third and fourth year people, and so that's a reflection of where we are now.
Absolutely. You talked to you were with Brian Kelly on his press conference yesterday, and I know that is kind of early bowl preparation. What do you get of where they are in the schedule right now? There's a lot going on. Transfer portal is one of them. They're recruiting. They got a national signing day coming up. I saw him and Frank Wilson doing some in-home visits to some commits to LSU, and then obviously you got to get your team ready to play. What'd you take away from your short conversation with him?
Yeah, I think he said that the next 24 to 48 hours we're going to play a big role in the team and who's coming back and who's leaving. I think that there's a lot of excitement. I think the entire offense basically is coming back for LSU next year, or it should be. I think Jure obviously is a senior, and then what does John Emery come back or not? But I think the entire offensive line, and then I think Brian Kelly in the next several days, why you pay him $10 million a year, he's going to have to manage this quarterback situation, and who's going to start moving forward and what's the plan. And I know in his mind he wants all three of those guys to stay, but is that going to be what happens here? And so Jaden has proven that he can be a winner and give you a lot of electric stuff. I think that he started to utilize the wide receivers a little bit better. We saw that I thought he played it pretty well against Georgia before he got hurt. And so, and he agreed that it is important for them. He said it's important to win this bowl game from the outside looking in. He says regardless if they win the bowl game or not, he feels like the process that they're putting in the building and what the steps they're taking, they're heading in the right direction. But for the fans' perspective, and it's when you win a bowl game and you hoist the trophy of some kind and you take a picture and everybody's got a smile on their face, that's an image you carry into the offseason.
Yeah,
that's
for
important.
Sure. For sure. So I was going to get to this quarterback thing. This is a beautiful mess, right? I mean, this is one of those problems that you want.
Katie, you a Beyonce fan? Sweet Dream or A Beautiful Nightmare? Way back when. Beautiful Disaster. Was that 311?
That's right. That's right. Beautiful Disaster. Was that the name of the album?
I think it was, maybe.
I think it was the name of the album. 311. What a great group.
Oh, yeah. But definitely my college days, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yes.
Sublime.
Hydroponic.
Yes,
311. Yeah. Out up at the Santa Maria. Yeah, if he had picked 5 songs from that was like one. I heard that song a million times. But anyway, sorry.
Three Doors Down.
No.
Superman, that was a little later.
Yeah. So wait, this quarterback situation. What do you mentioned you're paying him $10 million for a reason, and this might be at the top of the ledger line here. You got to figure this thing out, man. Where do you start?
It's Jaden brings some stuff to the table that the other two guys don't. Third long against Alabama late in the game, you got to drive down length of the field, the pocket breaks down, he takes off and runs for 31 yards. I don't think Nussmeier can do that. I don't think Walker Howard can do that. And I think when he trusted himself and pulled the trigger, there were a lot of good passing, plays during the year. But at the same time, I think we talked about last week, we went into the SEC championship game. Malik Neighbors only had 1 touchdown catch the entire year, and I think Kayshawn only had 1 catch, the whole touchdown catch the whole year going. So I don't think the wide receivers were utilized to their potential, and so Nuss was doing that. Now, Nuss's first touchdown pass. We're up in the press box and it's coming right at us. So I'm seeing that Georgia safety coming over, and Nuss threw a perfect ball. Went right over his fingertips. Neighbors caught a touchdown. Kind of identical play in the second half. This time the Georgia guy got over in time and picked it. And so that's the kind of things. He turned the ball over twice, and he got sacked and fumbled. I mean, I don't know if that's his fault. The offensive line broke down, but. Yeah, he does bring that electric stuff, that play he made to Jure. I mean, you're out of the game. You're not going to win, but tremendous. And so, yeah, I mean, you know what you got with Jay. And then you don't know, maybe you think you know, but we don't know what Walker Howard's going to bring to the table. And so that's the unknown there. But he's a 5-star. And believe me, there's other SEC teams that will take Walker Howard and make him the starter on day one.
Well, I think the majority of the conference would take all 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Georgia needs a quarterback next year.
Alabama needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, they would. I don't know. I don't know which school wouldn't take any of them. I mean, that's the beautiful part of the problem is that you got a guy in all of them. The argument can be made. you can win games with all three.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the discussion that you're going to have one-on-one is going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal because you're coming from a place where you're like, hey, I don't want to lose you, but here's the situation. And I guess right now you just keep it wide open, right?
I thought they did a great job managing this thing last year.
They did. An incredible job.
They kept them all there into the camp.
And kept them happy.
And then one fell. Miles said, I'm leaving. And so they kept the other three. Now Walker was a true freshman. He wasn't going to leave.
Right.
But, I think Nussmeier was the guy that people were saying, okay, he's going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't. He's still here. And so if Garrett Nussmeier is fine, even with Jaden Daniels being the starter, and hey, I may have to go in and help this team, then I think he could become a very popular player and a dynamic player. But, what conversation did he create by pushing the ball down the field and utilizing these wide receivers, and how the wide receivers feel about whoever the quarterback's going to be? I mean, it's supposed to be, we're all in this together. John Brady said, hey, let me tell you something. Tigers win 2-0. Tigers win, okay? We get caught up in the, the offense and the yardage and all that. Hey, just find a way to win. But
I agree.
Receivers want to catch the ball.
Yeah, it is going to be a fascinating offseason, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be. There will be storylines at every turn. There'll be storylines in spring. There'll be storylines in the offseason. Fall camp's going to be, obviously it'll be thrilling on just kind of how this thing shakes out, but.
Right now, it's kind of become like in the NFL, was it March, April, free agency starts? This has kind of become that for college right now. It's open season, who's going where, and yeah.
I don't want to focus a lot on it, but I love to get your opinion on it because you're passionate about it and you do a great job of covering it. What do you make of the Saints?
Well, I told myself, don't watch that game. But, Monday, and what am I going to not watch the Saints on Monday Night Football? So, I do not believe the NFL is rigged or any of that stuff.
Sure.
But it's that kind of stuff that makes the people say the NFL is rigged. It was the most coordinated disaster that you could imagine the other night. From, Mark Ingram's kind of the Bill Buckner and all this. He's the one play that gets replayed over and over. He runs out of bounds early. He apologized on social media.
To everybody.
To everybody, yeah.
He practiced the teammates, the organization, the coach, the city,
trainer.
The fans. Everybody.
Yeah. Devin was right there. He's giving it to him.
He was.
He's like, take it, They throw on 3rd and 1. The punter shanks it at the worst time. The 44-yard pass interference. And look, it went against the Saints, but I've said for years, I hate the fact that in the NFL, I chunk the ball down the field, 2 guys bump into each other, and I get 50 yards.
No
it's
doubt.
cheap. It's not deserved.
Right.
They need to find the happy medium between the 15-yarder and the 50,
Spot
60.
of the foul.
Spot foul is just
Yeah.
even when your team gets one of those, don't you feel kind of like,
damn, we got one.
yeah.
Like,
we didn't earn this.
Yeah,
we don't
right.
deserve to be first and goal at the 1.
Right. Just throw it up.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So, that was bad. And then the defense is dominating all night, and they just turn to Swiss cheese down the stretch. I know Tom Brady's Tom Brady, but I have a hard time giving the opposing team a whole lot of credit in this situation where it was just a meltdown. You knew when the Saints were kicking those field goals, you're like, okay, there's points going up on the board, but I'm doing the math in my head. We're going to lose 17-16 if they score 2 touchdowns, and that's exactly what happened. So, Dennis Allen obviously isn't giving the fan base a whole lot of confidence. And Andy Dalton played well enough to win. I thought he played a solid game. They dropped a lot of passes. Jarvis, can't quite pull it in with one hand. Olave dropped one. Taysom Hill gets hit hard, but if he catches that ball late, they wrap it up. So, yeah, I think we're in a situation that we haven't been in a long, long time with them. And the fact that, we were spoiled. It was always, oh man, we didn't get that number 1 seed. Oh man, we're not going to host throughout the playoffs.
You get the first round bye.
The first round bye. Oh, we blew it.
Yeah,
and now it's going to be like, is this team going to finish like 6-11 or 5-12 or something?
Yeah.
So.
Another thing you can give good perspective to, and we had him on earlier this week, is Neil Weiner's going to the Dome with Dunham, and look, he's been around high school football forever. Lived with his old man, obviously Dale Weiner, growing up. He played and was the captain at Catholic High as a player for his dad, and then went on to coach at Redemptorist and Zachary, and now at Dunham, and taking this Tiger team to the Dome would have. This is a great weekend for Louisiana, right? with state championships.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Neil. Neil's a great coach, father, dad, person. Grew up in it, like you said, Dale Weiner being his father and being around it, for all these years. Did a great job at Catholic Point Capee up there in New Roads.
That's right.
Coached there as well. And they said it during the off season when we did our high school previews. Went out and talked to him. The sentiment was, okay, we've got to go farther this year. It's time for us to stop burning out in the second round or wherever we've been losing, and it's time for us to make it to the Dome. And that's exactly what they did. They're going up against St. Charles Catholic.
Yeah, knocked them out last year.
I think they knocked them out like several times.
Yeah.
I covered that state championship last year where St. Charles Catholic beat Lafayette Christian, Trev Falk's team, and that was felt like a huge upset. They had won, I think Trev and them had won like 4 straight state championships, and St. Charles Catholic, like their special teams won that game, blocked a punt, blocked a field goal, like those plays added up to points and they pulled it off. So yeah, I think this will be St. Charles Catholic, great program. Frank Monica was the head coach there for many, many years. Wayne Stein has picked it up and won a state title last year. So that'll be a great ball game. Jackson House, the son of Matt House, LSU's defensive coordinator, is definitely I think he's committed to Eastern Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, a left-handed quarterback who's going to play college ball and a great player. Neil's happy about Matt House coming to, to Baton Rouge.
No doubt. All right, Jacques Doucet, remember you can hit him on Twitter, follow him there. He will be over in Orlando.
The team's going early. I was told that they're going to be there on the 27th.
Wow.
Why so early?
For a January 2nd game.
Damn.
So I'll double check
That's
that.
like a
but
week.
I bet there's probably some Disney guys
Disney World.
on.
No
I can think of a couple of coaches that would probably want to go to Disneyland.
Who? Just say.
Well, it's the worst time of year to go to Disney because not only are all the Americans going, but all the people from
international
tourists coming overseas to go to during Christmas time go to Disney, and so it's gonna be packed. And I even think the last time they were there, like LSU didn't even get like first class service. Like they brought them to Disney and they gave them like a wristband or something, but they were still
see y'all.
Yeah, they were still like in line forever and like, bro, we didn't ride no rides. It was too crowded. So I don't know what's going to happen this time around. But yeah, that is early if that's the case. That's the earliest since the playoff game that LSU played against Oklahoma in 19. They went there on the 22nd.
Wow.
For the game on the 29th. So.
But this is 7 days in Orlando. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah. I sent a text yesterday to Sports Information when they're going. When are you guys going? 27th. So, okay.
Oh, there's
the game's on the 2nd, right?
Some good golf courses down there too.
I remember. Look, I love covering Coach O. It was funny though. When you go to bowl, they make you go to the aquarium and to go to the zoo and do good stuff like go to the hospital and visit sick kids and whatnot. And Brian Kinchin came by last week and he said something like, "We wouldn't do these things on our own. Why are we doing them as a team?" Back then. But I remember when LSU got into the bowl with that Oklahoma thing, Coach O was like, "We ain't doing all that stuff. We're here to play a football game, and that's that. We're here to win a game. We're not here to do extracurriculars."
That's right. That's where they had remember they had the basketball challenge that night between Oklahoma and LSU, and Burrow stepped up and hit like 8 in a row.
That's
and they
right.
won it.
That's right. That's when like somebody beat Burrow in pool and like he just pissed about it, for the rest of his life. Whoever he plays pool against, those competitive guys.
Jacques, have a great day. Good to see you, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
As Jacques Doucet, appreciate everybody for being involved today. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. If you have not subscribe to our YouTube page. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Wednesday means Mikey's show's coming up today. We've also got our recruiting power hour with Shay Dixon coming through here. So a lot of recruiting questions. It is it's a buzzing time right now in recruiting, both with transfer portal and high school guys. If you have questions, remember, Shay Dixon coming up here this morning, a part of FM Digital Media. Have a great day. We will be back with you tomorrow, as always, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
And, hold on. Happy birthday, Coach Caskey.
That's right.
Yes,
happy birthday, Kyle Caskey.
How old is he today?
62.
62, there you are. I don't, make your own guess.
Yeah, right.
If you
40.
He looks good for his age, I'll say
low
that.
40 season?
Yeah, I'd say
low 40s?
Low 40s.
He's 44. Turned
Okay.
44
Oh, you knew
today.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Happy birthday, Caskey. Have a great day out there. Hit the like button, share button, comment button. Back with you tomorrow.